Our next presenter is Ghassan Abou-Zeineddine, and Ghassan is from the Department of Literature, Philosophy, and the Arts, and he will be talking to you today about Voices of Arab Detroit, Narratives of Boundary and Belonging. Ghassan.
All right. Hello, everyone. So the title of my presentation is the title of a creative nonfiction book that I'm co-editing with Sally Howell from the Center for Arab American Studies and Nabil Abraham. Uncertain Refuge, Voices of Arab Detroit aims to provide an intimate glimpse into the Arab American communities in this region, including but not limited to those with cultural heritages originating from Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Iraq, and Yemen. With this volume, my co-editors and I seek to present a multitude of voices and perspectives that investigate the diverse range of the Arab American experience in an area with the largest concentration of Arab Americans in the country. So we have solicited essays from established and emerging writers from the region that address a broad range of topics, including notions of identity, citizenship, religion, gender politics, family life, immigration, and exile, as well as the impact of the war on terror, the refugee crisis, Islamophobia, and recent immigration restrictions on everyday life. So I'm also contributing an essay to this collection titled An Atlas of Homes. In my own essay, I examined the notion of a transnational home as well as the complexities of an Arab American identity. So I will read a short excerpt from my own essay just momentarily. I'm also really thrilled to announce that one of my writing students from last year is also contributing an essay, and it's about her identity as an Iraqi refugee. So I should say that I'm also, this is a work of creative nonfiction, but I'm primarily a non-fiction writer. So this book will be published by Wayne State University Press, hopefully at some point in 2021. And it's also going to include a companion volume of academic essays entitled Uncertain Refuge, Vitality and Vulnerability in Arab Detroit. And I only have 2 slides, but this slide is by the award-winning Lebanese-American photographer Rania Matar, and she is actually contributing a photo essay to the collection. And she visited Dearborn in April of 2019, and she gave a talk on campus. And she actually photographed a lot of Arab American women in the Detroit metropolitan area. And those 2 young women are actually sisters, which is really interesting that one is wearing the hijab and the other is not. All right. So I'll end my presentation today just by reading a short excerpt from my essay. And I just should note that my wife, Rana, and I are new to Dearborn. We came in the summer of 2018. And before coming here, I used to teach in Central Ohio. And I taught Arab American literature. And I would tell my students all the time about Dearborn. I'd show them slides and provide them with essays. I had never actually been to Dearborn. So I had mythologized it. And the first time I actually saw it was when I came here for the campus interview. So, all right. So before we placed an offer on a house in West Dearborn, my father volunteered to fly up from DC for the day to inspect it. In his line of work as a civil engineer, Dad had spent years renovating old houses in Frederick, Maryland. He was the ultimate home inspector and would be able to assess the condition of the house before we went into negotiations. I drove up to Michigan from Ohio, picked him up from the airport, and took him straight to the house. He was pleased. In the afternoon, I treated him to lunch at El Amir's, a Lebanese restaurant on Warren Avenue. We sat in a booth and ordered beef shawarma, hummus, baba ganoush, French fries, a bowl of tapuri, and especially for Dad, fried fish. In ordering the fish, he asked the waitress, a middle-aged Lebanese woman, if the fish was prepared the Lebanese way, deep fried with its head still intact, and served with fried bread and tahini sauce. It had been years since he ate fish cooked this way. The 3 of us communicated in Arabic. We make the fish just like we do back home, the waitress said. The fish, a sea bass, came on a silver platter, its tail reaching over the edge. Dad pierced the crunchy skin with his fork, laid a chunk of its steaming flesh over a piece of fried bread, dipped his bite into the tahini sauce, and brought it quickly to his mouth. Dad has always been a fast eater, preferring to eat rather than talk over a meal. As he ate in blissful silence, working his way down the fish's spine, his finger dripping tahini sauce, the bread crunching between his jaws, I suspected that he was reminiscing about eating the same dish in Lebanon. But Dad has a complicated relationship with Lebanon. He hasn't lived there since 1977, when he left Beirut to marry my mother and work in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. As he tells it, he couldn't tolerate the superficiality and arrogance of the Lebanese or the corruption of its government. In fact, when I told him that my real estate agent and the broker of the house were Lebanese, he warned me not to be taken advantage of. They're all working together, he said. In the past 28 years, Dad has only visited Lebanon for family emergencies or deaths. Otherwise, he enjoys the thousands of miles that separate him from the Levant. He prefers to identify himself as American and has developed a fanatical love for American football, rooting for DC's team. He seasons his conversations with American maxims, his favorite being, quote, the bottom line, and when push comes to shove. When the waitress visited our booth to ask Dad about the fish, he gave her a big smile and then pointed to me. "This is my son. He's moving to Dearborn. Please look after him." "You don't have to worry," she said. "We'll take care of him at El Amir's." I refrained from telling her that I was approaching 40. For dessert, I took Dad to Shatila Bakery for kenefi and Turkish coffee. As he had done with the fish, he devoured the syrupy kenefi, savoring every bite. Before dropping him off at the airport, I gave him a tour of East Dearborn, driving him through the neighborhoods and pointing out the signs in Arabic. He was mesmerized by the place and also perplexed. Was this America or simulacrum of Lebanon? Rana and I shared my father's bafflement over Dearborn's identity, especially when we grocery shopped at the Middle Eastern stores. Whether it was Greenland, also known as Al-Mustafa's, or Dearborn Fresh, also known as Al-Medina, as soon as we entered the front door, it seemed as if we were stepping into a grocery store in Beirut from that first whiff of roasted nuts and coffee beans. There was also the smell of raw meat at the butchers in the back, the bags of thyme, sumac, bulgur, maghribiye, and fava beans stacked on metal shelves, the jars of pickled eggplant, radishes, and hot peppers, the strained yogurt and kashkaval cheese in the fridge, the loaves of pita bread and boxes of kak, the ghandour biscuits and Unica chocolate, the rani and sherry juices that Rani used to drink as a child. As in Beirut, we'd catch the patrons sampling the fruits on display. They'd pick grapes and eat them in the aisle. It wasn't uncommon to find olive pits left on the edge of the olive counter. As soon as we left the grocery store and a blast of icy wind hit our faces, we were reminded that we were in the Midwest. Thank you.